I want to first of all tell you the story of Observit. My name is Gabby. I'm the CTO and co-founder of Observit. We're a 7-year-old company. Now that we opened a US office here, I relocated with my family. And to give you an overview of the company, I want to tell you the story of Observit, and then we'll do a 5-minute demo just to show you the product and what is it all about. So I started 7 years ago as a consultant, and part of the things that I was called into was to help with server downtime issues. I was called in for the more complex type of issues that they were experiencing, because logs usually revealed things that were more, for example, out of disk space, network issues, but misconfiguration were things that are logical and were not involved in any log. And usually those are the type of things that we're calling in for. So it's mostly human error. And the first thing that I would ask whenever I came in is, okay, so who was the last one to log into that machine and what did he do? And usually nobody raised his hand. Maybe they didn't ask the right group, but there was nobody that said, yeah, it's me and I did that. That's why they called me in. And I did figure out that somebody did play with something and so on. So I came to think about it. There needs to be a simple way to find out who did what. And the first thing that came to my mind was, why not to put, and I really didn't understand how there was nothing like that back then, why not put like a virtual camera on a server that will record what people are doing, just as if you were standing behind them at the time. That way, when I come in next time, I can just go back, rewind, watch what somebody did, watch the configuration, find out if that's correct or not, find out something that somebody doesn't remember that he did. And that's how basically Observit came to this world, as a solution for troubleshooting. And I developed a software that does exactly that, that records in visual, like a big brother basically. You put it on your servers, it records everything that the user does, every misconfiguration, every delete of a file in a video format. But I also figured out that nobody, and not me also, will sit back and watch hours and hours of video. So I developed a solution that includes video analysis within it, and that's what I want to show you in the demo today. How we can actually find out what's within the video without having to actually view a second of it. And that's the whole concept of our solution. It's on one hand to record by video what somebody's doing, but on the other hand, you don't have to sit back and watch hours and hours of video. So geared with this solution, I partner with my business partner now, Avi Amos, who's not here, he's in Israel. This is where we're located. This is where the headquarters are. And we, being optimistic in nature and naive back then, I went to raise capital from venture capital. And the only thing that I gained out of that was about 10 pounds of weight, because whenever I'm upset, I go out and I don't know how about you, but as you can see, I hope I lost that weight, so the story ends well. But still, I didn't raise money from any venture capital. And I went to some friends and family. We raised $100,000 back then, and we started working. And we were doing actually very good. We were doubling our sales every year. And we sold our solution per device. So basically, every server you want to monitor, you put our software on it, and it records everything that is happening, whoever accessed that machine, whether it's DBAs, administrators, and so on. And there were many occasions that big customers, like banks around the world, were buying a single server, just a single machine, and they had thousands of servers. So one time we asked one of them, that was a bank in Iceland, why are you buying one server? You have thousands of servers. You're the first one. What's happening here? And what they told us, that they're actually setting up like a gateway machine, just a single box in their DMZ environment, and they are routing all their external third-party vendors, all their remote vendors, through that single box. There are users that work from home, there are consultants that need access from time to support them, the remote vendors they have, just like us, when we need to fix something, we log in. So they route all of them through that single box, and from there they hop into the target machines, and they're using our solution on that single box. So that was great on the one hand, but on the other hand, that had it made a lot of concern for us. Maybe our licensing is wrong. Maybe we need to license it differently. But what we actually figured out, that this is a good first step, foot in the door for many large organizations that otherwise we had to deal with many servers and sometimes site license. So that actually turned out good for us, and we started selling this, and soon after that, many of those big organizations came back to us and asked for more licenses to record what's happening by their internal users, not just by the external users. And we also figured out that we're being used for PCI, HIPAA. Back then, that was a curse for me. Like, what is PCI? We're selling for PCI. I don't know what PCI is. And what I figured out was that and what I was talking to auditors, what they care most about, and this is something which I see common between PCI and HIPAA and SOX and other regulations, they want to know who had access to PCI data, to HIPAA data, what did they do with that? That's like the basic of compliance. That's what they want to know. And this is actually our sweet spot. This is what we do. So we had to learn what PCI is. After starting selling for PCI and HIPAA, we had to start learn what that is. And now we are a big player in that market, and a lot of our customers are buying it for that reason. So where do we stand now? After 7 years, we have won 3rd place in Deloitte 50. We have grew, that's Deloitte Fast 50. It's 50 fastest growing companies. We were 3rd place. We grew over 3,500% without any venture capital money. This was all bootstrap. Me and my partner own most of the company, and we can have fun. We can do a lot of innovative stuff, and beyond that, we have about 700 customers worldwide. Many of them are Global 500. We have a lot of site licenses that we have sold to large banks around the world, and also for healthcare. We have some significant OEM agreements, for example, with CA Technologies and some other big vendors. Citrix has discontinued one of their competitive products they had. It was called Smart Auditor, and they're now advising to use our product instead. So we're very happy, we're doing good, and I hope that now that you have the context of the story, it will make more sense when you see the product. So I will do this short. How much time do I have?
5 minutes.
5 minutes, that's exactly it. Okay. So what you're looking at now, this is the console. I will not go into all the technical details, but like I said earlier, you can record what somebody did. So this is a server named ProdSQL. Somebody logged into ProdSQL. Not somebody, a lot of people. We can see here I have data from 2012. And all these records are sessions within that people logged in and did something on that machine. I can see the duration of the session. I can see who logged in. For PCI and other regulations, there is a requirement to know who the actual user is. Sometimes people log in with generic accounts. We can tell who the actual user is versus just administrator logged in. And then we can play back the session and watch it as if we were standing behind that user at the time of action. But like I said earlier, this is not something that I want to do, and nobody else wants to hire somebody to sit back and watch sessions like so. This will not be nominated to the best documentary film, and there's no need to sit back and watch it. But it is a good evidence if you need it in court. And there were some cases that we got an email, observe it goes to court. We were at the beginning afraid, but actually, they were using our product. So how do we overcome this? The problem of having to replay the session. Here I hope you can see this, I'm clicking on the plus sign. This is just one session that we've just seen. See how easy it is, and you don't have to be technical to understand what James did on that machine. He went to the start menu, which is easy to understand. He connected to the management studio, to the SQL Server management studio. He opened a database user named guest. He edited the host file using Notepad. He went to control panel, advanced TCP IP settings, and so on. So it's very clear what he did without having to watch a second of the video. Now, if I want to know what he did on a particular point in time, for example, with a host file, I can just launch that video from that point in time onwards and see exactly what he did with regards to that file. And I can also jump here around between the different activities. This acts like DVD chapters, basically. So all this information is indexed inside a centralized database, which allows you later to search for, maybe it could be, if it's DBA activities, it could be like a table name. If it's end users, for example, using Salesforce, it could be an invoice number or a customer name. We're not limited to record only servers. We're also recording users' desktop. We have reporting policies that allow you to really define
what you want to record. So you can record only SAP, nothing else. So when something else shows up on the screen or behind SAP, it will not record. It will record only SAP. We understand the concerns of privacy, and we deal with this by, in some European countries we see that more often. The way we deal with it is that we provide, for example, 2 password protection for sessions. So one is held by the employee council, another one by the security team. That way, when both passwords are entered, basically you get the consent of the user to see what was recorded on him. So that way we can deal with the privacy requirements in European countries. And we also provide acknowledgement of recording, so the user needs to acknowledge that he's being recorded. And we can add, we have also, in a lot of integration, figured out that this is a framework and it needs to work with other systems that you have. So if any of you are familiar with SIM, log management, and so on, we integrated with most of them today. We're providing video playback for the SIM and log management, so you can actually play back our videos directly from other solutions that you may have, whether it's SIM and log management, whether it's ticketing systems, we can associate videos to tickets, and so on. I think I'm running out of time, but this is basically what I wanted to share with you. We are a video camera for the IT. We have a solution that records Unix, Linux, Windows, Citrix, VDIs, servers. We are a framework that works with whatever you have, and the main use cases will be troubleshooting, it will be compliance, and remote vendor monitoring. So that's it. Thank you very much for your time.